I do support the renewal of the tax. It's 40% of our general fund revenue, and it is how we derive income from the general metropolitan area. However, in my campaign, I've been very clear on my website about that I think it needs to be reformed. And the reform should come in dedicating a portion of that revenue to make sure it goes for basic city services like a street utility fund, so we can have our streets resurfaced, trees trimmed, and the streets plowed, so that we can deal with the basic problem of deferred maintenance of our infrastructure, and so we can have money that we can count on to restore our neighborhoods. That's what Mayor Davis first proposed that measure, and I was fortunate enough to be in a conversation with him. He wanted it for basic city services. Now it's grown and it's gone for other things since that period of time, but that's my proposal.
Mr. Crawford. I think Jim's idea has some merit. I would say though that that idea has some merit without regard to whether we're talking about e-tax. The issue really is e-tax. Is this an appropriate tax? Is this the best possible tax? The issue, Mike, it seems to me, is that the other cities that we might be comparing against, typically they don't have things like the Hancock Amendment that essentially handcuffs the city in terms of what it may do in the future with respect to taxes. I think we should also not lose sight of the fact that although we are an older central city, we actually have a relatively high bond rating. And there's reason for that, is that despite all the problems that we've had, we actually have a fiscal base that is relatively stable because it's not a simple fiscal base. Meaning that there are a number of sources of revenues, the e-tax being one is an important source of revenue. But if you are in an economy that is as constantly in flux as we are, you want a number of different revenue sources to be able to level out the ups and downs of the regional economy. This allows us to do it. Take a look at cities that are over-dependent on any one revenue source. I used to work in the city of Dallas. I can tell you that when the city of Dallas went through the oil tax recession, and the revenues collapsed because of the values of real estate, and they were so heavily dependent on real estate taxes, it was hell for the city's financial office.